Hey guys, TJ Houston here with the Pixel Connection as kind of a first look with one of the newest lenses that are available for the Sony E-mount system, and that is the Tamron 70-180. As far as people being excited about this lens, it really we haven't seen this much excitement around something for a very long time. I want to say like the Sigma 24-70 would be, equivalent of people that really want that lens. We've been getting a lot of questions about this lens, and it just hit the market and we got an official price, I think early last week. So I want to talk a little bit about the lens, but in all of our kind of demonstrations, all of our videos, I want to share 3 things that we like and 3 things that we don't like, because we want to give you that fair and unbiased view from all of our employees here at the store. So let's get started with cost. That's probably the most appealing thing about this lens. So at around $1,200, this lens gives you pro-like results at a very low price. So its competitor, and I just want to point out that we are staying our social distance, and my friend Eeyore is behind the camera. So I'm going to ask him, how much does the regular G Master normally go for? It's definitely not $1,200. So given the choice, I want to make sure that we're giving today's price. These prices are changing all the time. But with this lens, you're having to spend a lot of money. So this is coming in at, I believe, $2,600. So 2 of these for the price of 1 of these. So how does it hold up? So we're going to show a couple kind of clips, some example images of just how well it holds up. But at $1,200, I'm leaning a little bit more towards this one. So let's talk about features. I mean, it's not apples to apples, right? This is not a 70-200 2.8 with image stabilization. So what are the differences between them? Number one, this is a 70-180, still at 2.8. This is a 70-200 at 2.8. So you're getting a little bit more reach with this lens. The other thing is, you'll notice that on the side here, we have all of our image stabilization settings. So this lens has image stabilization. This lens, unfortunately, does not. But you can see from these example photos here, the in-body image stabilization that Sony has in their cameras, it does a really, really good job. You can see here where we're shooting at slower shutter speeds, but those photos are still coming out super crisp. So although we don't like that it doesn't have image stabilization, again, we have to kind of balance for the price. I don't think it's bad. I mean, you can see from these photos that it does a pretty good job at holding up. So moving on from there, what about weather sealing? This lens is weather sealing, and you can see from this diagram that there are, I believe, 6 different places where it is. Actually, it's 8. It's 8 different places where this is weather sealed. So all the gasketing and everything, you don't have to worry about. Like right now, it's starting to snow. You don't have to worry about having to stop, put this away, or put a cover over it. It is a weather sealed lens. And I can tell from experience, I was shooting this in the snow last Friday, and it was just a snowy downpour. The camera was covered in moisture, and it still, without any issues, it kept shooting. Don't tell our Tamron rep that. Shh, that'll be our little secret. So what else about this lens is important to note? Well, one thing that we really don't like is the fact that it does extend out. Again, not a deal breaker, but you can tell from other lenses where when you're zooming, it's all internal focusing, so you don't have that going in and out. It's a smoother shooting experience. Also, being a little bit more sealed compared to this. Tamron's they say that, with all the gasketing, it's going to do fine, but that was one thing that just kind of got a little annoying. So the one question we've been getting a lot, this is a third-party lens. How is the autofocus? And we could tell you it's really good, and sometimes it's actually focused even better than its counterpart here, the 70-200 2.8. Now, this is a tried and true lens. We've used this lens for years. It's a great lens. So we're not just saying bad, like the purpose of this video is not to talk bad about this lens at all, but we want to give you that even comparison. This is going to work well for certain people. This lens is going to work better for others. So the other thing is size. So you could tell without a lens hood on it, there is definitely a size difference. So, I mean, you're a couple inches, especially without a lens cap. To compare apples to apples, we're about 3 inches shorter, 2.5, 3 inches shorter. So as far as, staying lighter weight, this is much, much better. It just fits in the bag easier, but you are going to lose out on your tripod foot. You'll notice that the 70-200 has that tripod foot built in. So if that is a deal breaker for you, if you put that on a monopod and you need that, you're not going to get that with the Tamron, unfortunately. So another thing that we noticed was interesting about this lens was just the chromatic aberration. So if you're wondering which one has better performance, it's actually going a little bit more from our tests. This actually performs a little bit better. So you can see from these example photos where you're getting a little bit of that fringing when you zoom in. And even when dialed back, you'll see from this image, you know, it's not as apparent, that purple color, but you can see that it is still there. So, you know, they're doing a much better job handling that chromatic aberration. So if we those are kind of our overarching thoughts about it. So if we go back and look, what are 3 things that we really like about the 70-180 from Tamron? Number 1 is the price. That's very attractive. It's allowing people who, you know, would never be able to shoot at that focal range or that aperture, now a kind of affordable lens that they can do that with. The second thing that we really like about this lens is just how fast the autofocus is. I mean, it's a very fast lens. It performs really well when compared to native Sony E-mount glass. And the third thing that we like about it is the actual size itself. That is, to me, someone that comes from a portable, smaller system, being able to have a full frame lens that weighs, it's super, super light. Even comparing the two, you can definitely tell how much lighter this lens is. So those are the 3 things that we really like about this lens. So what don't we like? Well, number 1 would be the image stabilization. Now, like I said, it's not a deal breaker. You're still able to get super sharp photos in lower light, as you can see from our examples, but it would be nice to have that little bit of extra help and having that in-body stabilization in the lens. The other thing that we don't like is the fact that it does zoom out. That's something that just kind of gets annoying over time, and it's not, again, these are all not deal breakers. These are just things that we don't like and we wish they were changed. And the third would be the tripod collar. We have a lot of people that shoot the 70-200 that put this on whether it's a gimbal, whether it's a monopod, and this just doesn't have that availability. So it is a little bit lighter lens, so maybe people won't need it, but that would be one thing that we would like to change, hopefully, in the future. So that is our first look on this lens. Is this a lens that you're excited for? Is this one that you're wanting to pre-order? Let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are on this lens. We love to hear from our community. My name is TJ Houston with the Pixel Connection. Thanks and have a good day.